Right, well, we went out to see if we could find the General Hercules this morning, but he wasn't on his leash, so that was a bit disappointing, but there you go. So I come out and I had a bit of a poke around on my own today. Didn't have much luck, but I thought I'd just show you this. These are old diggings from the old days, all done with pick and shovel. And what the old boys used to do was they'd come up these little creeks and they'd dry pan up the creeks until they got a bit of colour. Got to be a bit careful walking around here, obviously. And then they'd into it with a pick and shovel, and they'd get into some of this quartz here. Sometimes it was visible. Actually, you can see right down in there. They've gone right away the fuck down in there. And they'd get this quartz here and they'd stick it in a dolly pot, which is just a round tube of steel with a steel bottom and a banger in it, and they'd bang it all up and pan it off and see what it was like, get an idea of how many grams to the ton the gold was running at. Sometimes you could see it, sometimes you couldn't. But yeah, they were workers, and see right down in there. What they've done there is they've followed the leader, or the quartz leader, or whatever was holding the gold, and they've followed it right down in there. And I don't know whether you can see down in there, but they've actually shored it up. I'll just be a bit careful here, I'll fucking end up down in there myself. They've shored it up in there with timber. You can see the bits of timber and shit they've shored it up with in there. And yeah, they were bloody workers, eh? Real hard workers. And there's a bit of a smell coming out of there. I don't know. It's not death. It's not, nothing's died. It's something else. It's a chemical smell. So I just better be a bit careful. Yeah, and when the Great War came along, with the First War in the 1914, a lot of them just abandoned these diggings. Some of them were actually producing good gold, and what they did was they put a false wall in there, or floor. And they had all their swags and rifles and picks and shovels and everything wrapped up in there. And of course many of them never came back from the war. In fact, most of them never came back from the war. And so they're still finding those outfits today. And I haven't actually found anything yet, but this will be quite a deep shaft, I would think. Yep, I'm not getting too close to the edge of that bastard. Yeah, so there's a lot of hidden danger. Well, hidden dangers. These aren't hidden, that's for sure. Out here in the goldfields. We'll just have a look over here. This will be another deep one, I would think. Somebody's throwing a few sticks and shit in that, but that goes down a fair way too. It's the one we were looking at before. So yeah, and of course you can detect around these old shafts and bits and pieces, but a lot of tin, a lot of rubbish, because in those days there was no refrigeration, so everything that they bought in, all their tucker, was in tins. You know, there's flour, obviously, and I think the flour even came in big tins in those days, I think. And of course that kept it dry. And sugar, tea, and tin food like beans and bully beef and shit like that. So there's a big dump of tins all over the show and so on and so forth. But yeah, so we might just get back in our cruiser and plodded along through the bush and see if we can find another area that looks promising.